Welcome to Harness Up with Haste Draft Horses and Mules, where we talk all things related to these magnificent animals. From their history and uses to training and care, we cover it all. Join us as we chat with experts and enthusiasts in the field, share stories and tips, and explore the world of draft horses and mules. Whether you're a seasoned owner or just curious about these gentle giants, this podcast is for you. So harness up and join Haste Draft Horses and Mules for some lively discussions about these God-given creatures.
Howdy, everybody. Stephen here, Harness Up Podcast with Haste Draft Horses and Mules. Guys, I made the trip out here to Wyoming to record the 4th episode of this podcast with Mr. Dewayne, Dry Creek Wrangler School. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for coming.
Good to meet you, buddy. I'm glad you invited me out. I've been wanting to come here. I've watched you on YouTube so long, and boy, coming in here, I just sat back and drove and noticed, golly, this is the most beautiful place.
Kind of pretty.
It's beautiful, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been to Wyoming a lot.
Yeah.
But this place, looking at those mountains out that window, y'all can't see it, but man, it's beautiful.
Yeah, every direction from up here that we look, there's a view.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Dwayne's from Kentucky, too. That's the crazy thing about this.
Yeah.
I'm from Liberty, Kentucky, and
that's my mom's birthplace. It's her hometown. My dad was born in the next town over, Campbellsville. My family, from my dad's side, is 7 generations from right there in that part of Kentucky. I had to leave. I had to go to Alaska to find a wife that I wasn't related to.
So your wife's from Alaska?
Well, she was raised up there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So when did you leave to go to Alaska?
1985, right out of high school.
2 years for it?
Yeah, I don't feel old at all now.
Oh, for y'all that don't know, Dewayne, you may have seen him on YouTube. He's got a huge following on YouTube. He does a lot of things on there, and he owns this here Dry Creek Wrangler School.
Yes, sir.
Where we're at. Now, tell them a little bit about your school and what you do.
So we take, beginning 1st of May, every week we take another group of students in. And so we do 5 to 6 students a week. We keep it small so nobody gets lost in the cracks. And we teach basic horsemanship, just to get them started. We teach in depth on saddles and the bits and horses, horse instinct. It's not a riding school. Of course, we do ride, but it's a horsemanship school.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is basic horsemanship, you got to crawl before you can walk.
That's right. Well, we take horses in outside, and I've been training horses for a long time. And what I have found is most of the horses I get in, troubled horses, are just horses that somebody tried to break them, but they never gave them the foundation. They jumped them up and took the child and stuck them right in 6th grade, and they never got kindergarten or 1st grade. So my horse training, you was talking about Ken McNabb, I know who he is, and he's a top flight trainer. My stuff is, I stay in kindergarten and 1st grade, because most of the people that come through and most of the horses that I work with, they never got the basics. And so they're trying to figure out how to deal with this complex high-end problem. And I work with it for a little bit, and I'm like, you don't have a complex high-end problem. You never learn to add, and you're trying to do algebra. So we just go back to the beginning and start all over and get the foundation, just get the basics.
It's crazy how that works. Like when you're doing something, you get so frustrated sometimes, like trying to fix something, and you just slow down and stop and say, man, I got to start all over.
Yeah.
And it just refreshes you.
It just refreshes.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Dwayne. I've watched you on YouTube so long, and it feels real, man. I'm sitting in the tack shop where I watched all your videos.
Yeah, this is my sanctuary too. Everybody knows Mama's all in one pretty much. If I'm in here, she'll come up, knock on the door and come in, but everybody else is like, he's in there getting away from everything, and he's decompressing. Leave him alone.
A man needs that.
Especially in this day and age.
A lot of your stuff on YouTube, man, you have helped me and so many with a lot of your stuff. A lot of your cowboy wisdom, I call it.
Well, I appreciate that. Most of that is stuff I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And so if I can help somebody else If I can fall in a ditch and turn around to the young man behind me and say, hey, there's a ditch there, then that's all I'm trying to do.
I want to ask you this. Me and Kim was talking about it, and me and a lot of people lately in the horse industry has been talking about this. Lately, you've seen the horse industry just go to the roof. Your people that's coming to the school, are you seeing a lot of young people come, or what's the age right now that's coming?
No, they're older people.
Really?
Yeah, I get all ages, but I would say that the larger percentage of the students that come through are from 40 to 80.
Like what kind of people's coming to this school? Like just people green, never done it?
A lot of them.
Wow.
So we started the school. I mean, my heart is when I started the YouTube channel was I started putting out very basic videos, horsemanship saddle videos for young people who wanted to go into wrangling dudes and working in, with pack strings and stuff like that. And so that's where we got the name Wrangler School, to start a school that Wranglers can go to learn, because I love it. I love the industry. I love doing it. I love everything about it. But there's not enough potential young Wranglers who can afford to go to school to pay for the school. It's just the reality of it's what we found. I'm not a businessman. I'm learning everything the hard way. So we've expanded it. We've had to expand it in order to pay the bills. And so we do get young people come through. And we've had a lot of young people come through who are now working on cattle ranches, pack stations, wrangling after going through the school. So we're doing that. But I get a lot of people come through that just they want to improve their horsemanship for their horse back home, or they just want the experience.
That's a good feeling. Like we did clinics, we teach people how to drive horses.
Right.
We have people come through. Like the last clinic we had a young lady come through that was going to work at a dude ranch driving horses in Yellowstone. She wanted to come and learn and refresh herself, so she's ready to go to work out there.
Right.
We have a lot of carriage company drivers come to our school.
Mm-hmm.
When they call you a year later or so, say, hey, man, I'm out here working and what she taught me really done me well. Then a good feeling.
Then you know that you're accomplishing. How many people set out to do something and know that they're actually accomplishing what they set out to do,
True.
And so, yeah. And the other side of, we've had some really cool, I had a fella come through last year, and when he left, he went on a big ride. We went on a big ride, and he came back, and he said, I left 3 tours in the sandbox out in that sagebrush. He said, I've been needing that for 20 years.
That's good.
And I had another older gentleman. I think he was probably 80. And he had horses when he's younger. He had ridden when he's younger. He brought his own saddle out. And we spent a week out here, and he left, and he said, this is probably my last ride. And I can't think of a better way to end a lifetime of riding. So, you can't discount that.
Yeah, no, you can't. I mean, them experiences with other people, help me.
Right.
Like when somebody tells me stuff like that, sometimes I'll look in the mirror and say, wow, that's going to help me a lot, what he said.
Yeah.
These clinics we did, I'm sure it's the same here. We get together, when you get all these people together with common one like interests, good things are going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
We see that.
Yeah. And so like we started our first year, last year was our second year. And so our first year, we spent the first year in Tennessee while we're trying to get land worked out, whatever. And it was our first year, so there was a lot of mistakes made in bookings and stuff. So there were times when I had 2 students for the week. Those were my worst classes, not because of the students, but the students, they feed off each other, and so it changes the whole energy. It changes the dynamic. And this one may have a question, which will get this one thinking about a question. And this one will say, I didn't even realize that was a question. Man, I'm glad you asked it. So they feed off each other. So it's, when you get people together that have the same focus, they're there for the same purpose, then good things can happen.
At our clinics, man, especially the one we did out in Texas last year at Prefer. These people that come got so close at that clinic 4 days. These women was almost crying when they had to leave each other.
We've had them playing here. They'll get done for the week, and they're like, let's stay in contact, and let's book another week next year. And all of us come up and book that week.
Just to be together.
Yeah, just to do it again. Yeah, it's lifelong friends come from these.
Let's talk about your school. When the people come, do they stay here?
They stay right here. We've got, so this house built in 1898, it's 2 stories. So yeah, we've got beds and bunkhouse beds, and then a bed for couples a room for a couple with a big king size, another room for a couple with a queen size. And yeah, everybody stays in here. We've got a big dining room table. We do family style meals in there around the table together, unless we're all out here around the campfire, cook around the campfire. And so it's being from Kentucky, hospitality is a big part of the culture. It's a big part of what we do. And so we make it as much family as we can for the week.
That's awesome. So they come, they stay here, they eat here, all their meals, get away and learn horsemanship.
Yeah.
I don't think there's not much like that in America going on, is there?
Not much.
You're the one.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure somebody's watching and saying, hey, we do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much.
I didn't know of any myself.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't either.
But
I'm sure, there's nothing new under the sun. But
I'll have to take a picture of the house and put it in the video to show you folks, because you guys should see this. It is cool. 2-story, nice old ranch house, stone.
The external walls are 22-inch thick solid stone.
Gotta have it for this kind of weather. And here, you got a wood stove. I'd have to heat my whole house in a small tank shop.
Yeah, there's four fireplaces in that house.
Is that how you heat it?
Well, we have the fireplaces and we have a propane gas furnace. But
that's awesome, man. That's really cool. Maybe I'll have to come take your school sometime.
There you go.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. We'll swap.
Yeah.
I'll come down and teach you. I've driven horses in harness once.
You need to add a team to your place here.
Man, I don't have enough room for what I've already got here.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, it would.
To get out and ride?
It would.
It'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Tell us what kind of cigar you're smoking today on this podcast.
This is a Partagas Black Label. This is the folks who regulars, they know this is one of my favorite daily smokes.
I'm going to get a drink of this coffee. I want you to tell them about this, man.
Okay.
This is Dewayne's personal coffee right here.
Well, so there's a coffee company named Juniper Mountain, a fantastic family-owned business, Juniper Mountain Coffee, and they reached out to Mama and I and said, we want to sponsor. So they sent coffee out, and we made some and drank it. Like, man, this stuff's fantastic. And then we talked to them and got to know about the business. And then a few months later, they came back and said, we want to develop a brand new roast with your name on it, your roast. And so what they did was they developed like 22, I think, new roasts, and then tested them all, and then picked 3, because I told them, I said, I want my coffee like I like my cigars, dark and rich. And so they picked out 3 and sent us the 3, and then we picked the strongest and richest of the 3. And so it's Wrangler roast. Yeah.
It's really, yeah. Now, if they want that, how can they order it?
Well, they ordered from Juniper Mountain Trading Post, Juniper Mountain Coffee, or they can get on our website, which is www.drycreekwranglers.com, and we have a store on there where we sell the coffee and coffee cups and vests and shirts with logos on them, stuff like that.
And then they can also apply to come to the school through the website too. They call you on there.
They can go to the website and there's a phone number, but they have to call. Everybody has to book personal. We don't book anything online. Well, we have limited spots. And so we don't want someone to just get online and book a spot and come here and say, oh, this is not what I thought this was. Mm-hmm. We had our first year, I had a group of 5 young men from Great Britain contact me.
Oh,
They wanted a book, and man, I'm like, oh, that'd be great. But then Mama asked everybody, what is it you're looking for? And we were in Tennessee. We want to ride across the open western countryside, for about a week, and we said, this is a school. That's not what we do. So we didn't book them. I'm not going to take somebody's money and not give them what they're looking for.
sorry.
And then we have people call and book, and they think that I offered therapy or something. They come sit down and they see the videos on the internet, and they think they're going to come here and get personal. And I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. So we're like, sorry, this is a horsemanship school, and so everybody has to call in person.
You know what, though? You say you're not a therapist, you're not a counselor. You've helped a lot of people with your videos online.
Well,
Your knowledge, old cowboy knowledge, I call it. You got a head full.
yeah.
It really helps. It helped me through some hard times. I was going through a lot. Good. Watching you and listening to you. And my favorite one you ever done, though, if y'all got YouTube, look up the one where the horse apples ain't food.
Mm-hmm.
That was one that got really cool. Tell them about that.
Oh, that was just a short.
Well, yeah, it was short.
Yeah. And so you can take a raisin and stick it in a horse apple, and that doesn't make it food. You still don't want to eat it. And there's a lot of people out there that are putting, and they've got a little bit of tiny truth in what they're putting out on the internet. But mostly it's still just horse apples. And that little bit of raisin of truth they're putting in there, that doesn't make it edible.
That's right. So when you was in Alaska, how long was you there?
In and out, I don't know, 10, 12 years maybe.
What did you do up there?
A little bit of everything. I guided. There's horseback outfits up there. I did that. I cooked. I was in law enforcement in remote native bush villages.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I worked, in commercial fishing in the canneries for a couple of seasons. Just whatever I could do to support the family.
When did you get out of Alaska?
2014 maybe.
And come to?
Kansas.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we went from Alaska to Kansas to start with.
Then how old was you in Kansas?
A year, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know, some of your videos you was down in Bandera, Texas.
That was a lot more recent. So I had been, I was working on a ranch in Colorado out of Saguache, and we left there and went to Bandera, and I was there for just a short time. It was not a positive experience. Bandera was cool. I like Bandera. But about that time while we were down there, the YouTube channel started taking off really big.
That's the first video I seen you on.
Well, so I started doing videos before that. I was doing videos on the ranch in Colorado. And I was doing videos a little bit before that, but we had a technical thing, and like my first videos got lost. They got deleted. And but in Banderas when they started getting big. And so a lot of folks started on the comments and emails and stuff said, man, if you'll start a school, teach us stuff in person, I'll come to it. And we got so many of those that Mom and I said, well, let's just do it. Let's start a school. I'm tired of riding and working for people that don't know, they don't know what they're doing, and they don't want to listen. And they want to pay me $11 an hour for all my years of experience, and then they don't want to listen to me. I'm just tired of it. I'll just do my own thing. I'd rather start working for myself than start working for somebody else.
I stepped out of what I was doing in 2017 on a limb. I was working at the car dealership in Somerset, Kentucky, out in Blakely Ford. And it got to where I was selling more horses than I was selling cars. And the manager come in there and said, are you going to sell them donkeys or work for us? It hit me a certain way.
Yeah.
I stood up and I said, I'm going to sell them donkeys.
That's right. I lived in Somerset for 2 years.
Really?
When I was 10 and 11 years old. Somewhere right in there. Yeah.
That's where I went to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to school in Somerset.
Really?
For 2 years, yeah. 5th and 6th grade.
You probably went to Meese Middle. Hopkins Elementary, bro.
I don't even remember.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Long time ago.
Somerset's a booming town now. If you hadn't been there in a long time, you'd say it's...
I drove through last year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't live here.
It's nothing like here. This place is, you could just sit here for days and not see nobody if you didn't want to.
Right. Yeah. We'll see a school bus or the UPS truck and the local ranches, you know.
The first video I ever seen that you done, I guess, was I was researching cowboy hats for my wedding. And I go on my YouTube, and you know how you scroll through and it recommends videos?
Yeah.
I guess Google's saying I was looking at cowboy hats, so it popped up your hat video.
Yeah, that was in,
There's
no, that was in Swatch.
okay,
That was in Colorado.
really? That's the first video I seen.
Yeah.
Talking about your hats.
Yep.
Then your boot video.
The boot video was in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that one of your Rand hats you got on?
This is the original Rand. So this is funny. My wife and I we were moving down from Alaska, and I had a 30-foot travel trailer, and we were coming through. We were headed to Cody, Wyoming. We had friends there, and I used to work in Cowboy out of Cody. We were driving through Billings, and we drove by the Rand's hat building. Saw the sign, and my wife said, "You've got to go back." I said, "I ain't going back." She said, "You've got to get a hat." She said, "All these years," she said, "you have to get a hat." And she insisted. So I turned around and parked that 30-foot trailer on the street, went inside and ordered a hat. This hat, it wasn't shaped anything like this. It was totally different. And so when I got it, they did exactly what I asked them to do. But I'm like, that just ain't me. So I reshaped it. But yeah.
Shape it the way you like it.
I shaped it the way I like it.
I started wearing this Cool Hand Luke shade. Boy, I like it.
Yeah.
And it's a guy up Lexington shaped it for me at the boot store.
Mm-hmm.
But got me a new hat, coming over to me one from J.W. Brooks down in Texas. Yeah. Got to wait a year.
That's what I've got the new Rand's hat up there.
Yeah.
It takes a long to get them.
Takes a long time to probably get backed up with orders and things, but sure does. Yeah, boy, we couldn't have been blessed with a more prettier day to come out here, though. It's so pretty. Exciting. There's still snow on them mountains.
Yeah. Well, we had a snowstorm last week.
That's the thing about out here. You could have a snowstorm next week.
You know, we got called for one here in 3 or 4 days.
It's crazy. What's your most memorable moment working with horses? Like your most memorable ride or something. Some kind of story that you'll always remember with horses. I'd like to see if you got one. I'm sure you do.
Oh, I do. Probably the one, and I've done the video on it, the runaway horse in China. Probably my most memorable one.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, yeah. So I was in China breaking horses. And it was one of those deals. Everything went sideways. I had a 30-day visa, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. So I didn't get near the time on that horse that I wanted, but I was running out of time. And fix had to get on a plane and leave. And so I had a buddy there who he had ridden in South Dakota, and I had to get this horse. I had to get him out and get some time on him before I left. And I knew it wasn't going to be enough. And then about that time, they went and bought another horse and brought this other little horse in. And so I'm like, we'll get her done. So I had brought my saddle with me in the duffel bag on the plane to China. But I didn't have a saddle for the second horse. And so they brought out a Chinese military Mongolian saddle that they found it somewhere. I don't know. They brought that out. There was no blanket. There was no pad. So we went in the bunk in there in the room and came out with a pillow for a bed, just a regular pillow. We put that pillow on this little horse and strapped that saddle down. And then I said, Donnie, you gonna ride that horse. And then I got on this horse, which this is his first ride out I'd been on him just a little bit. So we headed out. So there was a long gravel driveway. At the end of that driveway, there was just a little single one-lane gravel road that just, you take a left, and it just went off out in the middle of nowhere. You took a right, and you go back down the highway and go back into town. Well, I hadn't been down the road to the left, and they said Russia is down there. And so I was in a part of China where North Korea, China, and Russia all come together.
Okay.
And so I told Donnie, I said, well, let's go to Russia. You ever been to Russia? I ain't never been to Russia. Well, let's go to Russia. Okay. So we turned and headed down that road. So we hadn't gone very far. And this little bitty Chinese car came up behind us and went beep, beep, and went around us and went on. And these fresh horses and this unbroke horse that I'm riding, they kind of jumped up. And there was no traffic out there normally, but we hadn't gone just a few yards. Another one come up, beep, beep. And there was 3 or 4 of them. And the horses were just getting tighter and tighter and getting more and more agitated. And I saw that all these cars were going down past us, and they were turning this driveway to this little building that they had just built. So I told Donnie, I said, if we can get past that building down there, I think we'll be all right. Everybody's going there. And just as we got almost to that little building, somebody set off a big string of firecrackers. And those 2 horses, they were like, we didn't sign up for this. And they were thoroughly agitated. And I said, let's just get them past it. Well, as we got even with the driveway, somebody set off another string of those firecrackers. And the horses said, that's it. I've had enough. And so they started taking off, started bucking. And Donnie's pillow under his Mongolian saddle, the saddle started rolling. I'm trying to hold my horse in and get the headstall of his horse. But it wasn't happening. So I'm like, all right, go. And I threw a glance over my shoulder. I saw Donnie roll off his horse into the ditch. And then I just threw the reins. I said, just run, you rascal. And so he bellied down. I mean, just bellied down. And, I always say, I've never been on a horse that can run faster than I can ride. So I just let him go. And then, we're going down there. I thought, oh, Russia. Well, this should be interesting. And, but that horse ran, and by the time he was running himself out, we come around a bend in the road, and there was a big, tall chain link fence. And that was the border between China and Russia. But it wasn't a manned post or anything. That road went up that fence and stopped. So I got off and calmed him and let him blow. And after a little bit, Donnie comes walking up, leading his mare, and we got everything reset, and then we quietly rode back to the farm. That's probably my most memorable horse ride.
Did they call you to go to China to work?
No, Donnie was a general contractor.
Okay.
And there was an NGO outfit from the United States that was building what's the word I want? It was like it was a dairy farm to provide milk for, the poor folk around there. Mm-hmm. So they were rebuilding this farm, and they had a horse, and they wanted to work the cattle on the horse. And so they asked Donnie, did he know anybody that knew anything about horses? So he called me and said, you want to fly to China and work some horses? And so they bought my ticket, and I put my saddle on a duffel bag and went to China.
When was this?
02.
02.
Yeah. Yeah.
And stayed there 30 days.
Mm-hmm. It rained for 19.
What breed of horse did you ride in China?
They were the little Mongolian, just short, stocky, powerful little horses. They were not, they were probably 14, 1
Did you think they was a good breed?
You know what? The one thing I have discovered is, and I've ridden in China, I've ridden in Africa, I've ridden around all of the United States, and a horse is a horse, is a horse, is a horse. Their instinct is the same. The way they think is the same. They were tough little horses. So yeah, I wasn't at all disappointed in the quality of the horse.
That's a new Dry Creek Wrangler Dewayne quote. A horse is a horse.
A horse is a horse is a horse.
I never thought of it. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Yeah. I rode in Africa, and the horse is no different. That their thinking, their response, the way they react to everything, it's their instinct. So the African horse is no different than the Wyoming horse, which is no different than the Tennessee horse, which is no different than the Chinese horse.
What got you to Africa, Rad?
I went over there trying to start a horseback safari business in Botswana. But the financing fell through and none of that worked out. But I was over there for a month too.
You was going to stay there and start a business?
Loved it. I loved it, man. I loved Botswana.
What part of Africa is that?
Just above South Africa.
Wow. Desert country or?
Yeah, the Kalahari Desert. Now, if you go north in Botswana, you get out of the Kalahari Desert and you get up in the Okavango Delta, which is a really wet country.
If you're from China and Africa, that's a pretty good thing. Anywhere else in the other countries you went and rode?
That I rode in? I don't think so. Rode 5 or 6 years in Alaska.
Yeah.
But I don't think I didn't ride in any other foreign countries.
Yeah, that's something to say, go to China to train horses. That's pretty neat. I never say, I don't know if I'll ever go to China or not, but if there's something to see, I'd say.
It's quite an experience.
What started your love for horses? Did that start back in Kentucky, or what was your first horse you ever had? You remember?
Well, the first horse I ever owned, I was grown.
That's it.
And I bought a little, in 2000, I bought a little red dun 2-year-old filly out of Emporia, Kansas.
I've been there.
And she was, let's see, how was she bred? She was a Dash for Cash, Oklahoma Star. She is a wicked tempered little rascal. But one of the smooth, and she would bury 14 hands, but the smoothest trot, one of the smoothest horses I've ever ridden. But she was the epitome of a mare. We'll just put it like that. Yeah.
Speaking of riding, I want to talk about that saddle. What saddles are you using down here at the school, and what saddle do you prefer to ride in the most?
Well, I've got this is my saddle that I ride the most in right now. This is Bob Ray, Gilsert Building, Utah, hand built by him. And then this saddle is a hardwood saddle. That's what I'm because I'm bringing that mule along. That saddle fits her really good. So that's a hardwood saddle. I like that one. So I ride these two the most. This saddle I bought Mama for her birthday back in October. This is a McCall, a lady Wade McCall.
It's nice.
That saddle behind you right there, that's a Ben Geisler. Which, by the way, I'll just go ahead and say this now. Ben Geisler and I have a deal worked out. My first saddle from him is on the way that I designed, and it's going to have Dry Creek Wrangler School stamp on it.
Well, that'll be.
And it'll be a Dry Creek Wrangler saddle.
You're going to start selling them.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal.
Yeah. And so that should be here within about 3 weeks.
You're excited about that?
I'm very excited about that.
So you'll be marketing them on the website and everything?
I will.
Good deal.
But they'll be custom made. I mean, people will order one, and then you'll get on it. That's probably, because he has quite a backlog.
Okay.
So I won't have like a bunch of them on the floor.
So just a made to order.
Yeah.
Sure. So when people come to the school, this is what saddles they use.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I've got a S.A. Brown, made with Scott Brown there,
Okay.
that next one over there, and then a Colorado Saddlery. That Colorado Saddlery, it's not stamped, it's stamped Outfitter Supply. That's a rare saddle.
Or
So Outfitter Supply, are you familiar with them out of Montana?
I bought a pack saddle from one.
Okay, well, there at one time, they contracted the Colorado Saddlery to make custom saddles with their stamp on it. And so it's got the extra rings and stuff and for packing and whatnot.
Are you teaching packing at this school?
Not yet. I've actually, I've been talking with a packer guy I know who's out of Arizona, and we're talking about pairing up. And maybe this coming in 2025, we may do some probably what we're going to do is we'll do a week long and we'll pair up. I'll do half of it will be the basic horsemanship that I do, and the other half he'll do a packing class. So we're talking about putting those together next year.
Well, I used to, coming from Kentucky,
Right.
pack animals, it's just not really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't never hear of it. We started selling a lot of mules when we first started. That's all we sold pretty much was riding mules, and that's it. A lot of
Right.
back 2010, 2012.
Right.
I made my first trip to Montana in 2012. I loaded the whole trailer load of mules, 15 of them, head out here. Cold turkey, nobody to sell them to, just come out and started peddling mules.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out the pack mule industry out here is massive.
It's a big thing.
I went to up by Missoula, up to a little town, and they sent me to a ranch out there. And come to find out it was Ted Turner's ranch. And I didn't even know where I was going. They told me where to go.
Right.
And I went up there and just drove in, pulled up. Some guys come out and said, "You got a load of mules on there?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you selling them?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, let's unload them all. We want to look at them." They unloaded every one of them mules. And I stayed the night there. They rode them that night. The next day, bought several of them. And I said, "Well, you got some good riding mules, boys." They said, "We're going to pack them." They were using them all for packing. They needed packed mules. And then I went back home, started buying mules, selling pack mules.
Yeah. Well, I've got the one mule here, and when I bought her, she was less than half broke. But I've been working on her, and man, there's nothing like a good riding mule.
You about got her where she's riding.
Yeah. Yeah. She's doing well. She don't have a real good face. She's way better than she was, but she's coming along. I've got her to the point now. I bought her out of Tennessee, and everything was they were just hauling on her, just pulling the haul on. So she was so hard to mount. But I got her to the point now she's figured out that's not really necessary. So now, she's starting to pick it up and say, listen to the signal, follow the signal. She's got a long way to go, but she's doing really good.
Here's a question a lot of people ask me all the time. I want your opinion.
Okay.
What's the best? What's the difference in training a mule and a horse? Why does people say a mule's better than a horse, or why do they say a horse? What do you think?
To train, or just in general, what makes a mule better?
I'm talking about training.
Training?
Like starting them and training them. Why is it so much harder to train a horse?
Like the one guy said, I think it was Ray Hunt, all right? You have to train a mule like you should train a horse. You can get away with shortcuts on horses, say it's not best, all right? But with a mule, you got to tell them why. I mean, you training a mule, in my opinion, okay, in my opinion, training a mule will make you a better horseman.
Heard that.
Okay. If you train a mule and you train and get a good mule, you'll be a better horseman. Because you can't get away with shortcuts with a mule. Now, horses are forgiving. Mules not very forgiving.
Are they smarter, you think?
Oh, they're more logical. They use more reason. They think more, and so they're not going to put up with your nonsense, and so you've got to step back and be patient, and explain to them what you want, make it the better option, and stay with them until they figure out, what, this is the better option.
Say you got this mule here you're training. When you get her finished, and you've got a horse you finished, you've got them finished yourself, they're ready to go. If you're going on a ride over them mountains, you're going to be gone 2 or 3 weeks.
Taking the mule. Gotta take it or you.
That's the truth.
Oh, not only are they're more sure-footed, they're more logical and everything, they're just smoother on old bones. They're just smoother to ride. They're way more comfortable.
Here's something crazy, and I don't know, you may notice this too. Back in 05, 6, 7, coming out when I started in that industry, mules out here was so popular. Everybody out here in Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, they wanted a mule.
Right.
And they called back east because that's where the mules was.
Right.
You know what I've noticed lately? It's slow.
The east is coming out west to get good mules.
It is.
Yeah.
That's why do you think we're not selling? We sold one mule team this year. They ain't any. They ain't there. I used to could take my truck and trailer. You know where home is, Liberty, Kentucky.
Yeah.
I could go out to Manchester, then come up around Mountain Parkway, make a big circle, come around by Hodgensville, E-Town, come around. I could buy 10 or 12.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
Now, I could drive 5 days and never find one.
No, I don't know why, because, in Tennessee, there's still a lot of mules.
There's a few, but
not like there used to be. No.
Even Missouri.
Yeah.
Used to Missouri was the mule capital of the world.
Yeah.
Gated mules, too. People want them gated mules. A true gated mule is few and far between. They just are.
I think we have a society today that just wants to shortcut everything. They don't want to take the time and the effort. And the old timers who knew how to train a mule, they're passing on. And young people, they just want to play cowboy.
I love those old mule men. We got a few still around home.
Right.
You got an old mule guy, old timer. When he opens that mule's mouth and he mounts that mule's age, by George, he's dead on. I'm going to miss all them little guys when they're really gone.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to find.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of the problem is I think there's not new guys, young guys coming up to replace the older ones. Others. And so
I'd say 1 out of 10 young cowboys nowadays can mouth a horse or mule.
Yeah.
Mother Teeth and tell you how old
race. Right.
Maybe 1. That's right.
Well, they don't have the patience to work them. It's just so, and a lot of it, in this day and age, it's like, well, they don't ride mules on Yellowstone, so mules ain't real cowboy mounts, and so they don't. They'll never know the joy. But now my buddy in Kansas, he told me, he said, Dewayne, we need to make sure we get the whole thing on here, because if this is misedited, I'm in a lot of trouble. All right. He said, Dewayne, a mule is like a woman. A good one is priceless. Anything less than a good one is a $2 nightmare. There's no in between with a mule.
I'm proud to say I got a good one.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I do too. I have this little quarter horse mule. Well, you might be talking about your wife. I got a good wife too.
Yeah, I only gets told me out a lot.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's there's no in between. There's no in between, in my opinion, on a mule. It's either a good mule or it's a 9.
But you know what? With a mule, I used to tell people all the time when I was selling riding mules, they'd say, can a beginner handle this mule? Can anybody ride this mule? And I said, listen, guys, a mule, if you bond with that mule and you become that mule's friend, and you're that mule's person, you can get away with anything.
Yep.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you're probably not going to be able to.
They're not going to let you hurdle. A horse will. A horse will let you hurdle. Not intentionally, but a mule, you're not riding a mule to death. You're not riding a mule off into quicksand or bog. They're like, no, are you crazy?
We used to have people come to our house from out here. We still do to buy draft teams, but to buy mules. At one point, I was working with a guy. We'd have 20 or 30 there all the time, trained up, ready to sell.
Right.
2015, 16. We'd have people fly in from California to buy mules. They'd come there, and you would say they was coming to buy this old Festus mule, the mule they wanted. They'd come there, and old Andy over here, a mule I thought they would never buy, never ride, never like. This 50-year-old woman gets attached to this mule and bonds with her. She rides her while she's there and loves her and buys her.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
I think another thing of it is mules are going the way of the Appaloosa. But I think it became a fad for a while.
It did, yeah.
And fortunately, the fad can't ruin the mule industry like it did the Appaloosas. The Appaloosa fad of the 70s, this is just my opinion, it destroyed the Appaloosa breed. because they were breeding for spots, and they'd breed this to that, inbreed, line breed, everything. What they're doing today in a lot of corners of the quarter horse world. But I won't have, I'm sorry, I'm not speaking against your horse, okay? But I won't own an Appaloosa. I won't own them.
Saying like them, though?
No. The worst horses.
You used to like them?
No.
Never did.
The two worst horses I've ever worked and ever ridden, both were Appaloosas. And I've known a lot. How many ranches, working cattle ranches, do you drive by and you see the cowboys riding Appaloosas?
More than a million?
How many Appaloosas do you see on good professional back strings in the mountains? Those guys are riding. You don't. And the foundation Appaloosa was a tremendous horse. But the fad of the 70s and the show ring, it just, in my opinion, it don't carry no weight. Ruined it. And I think the mule thing, we're seeing the declining mules in buying and selling mules was because there for a while it became a fad. And fads are in cycles. They come and go.
Well, speaking of this, Appaloosa you're talking about, the Appaloosa mule became a fad.
Yeah, I know. When I was in Tennessee, not this last time, but I lived there before, where I was up the creek, it was the holy unicorn grail. They were trying to get spotted gated mules. That was the holy grail they were on the quest for. And they'd breed anything to everything if they thought they'd get some color and some gait to it. And the
Walkaloosa, remember them? The Walkaloosas?
Yeah.
The gated Appaloosa walking horses.
Yeah.
And even in the draft horse industry right now, what we're in, the line breeding is getting pretty large. They're making these draft horses now have legs as long as that stovepipe and bodies like this. They're just not the traditional draft.
Well, I used to have foundation bred brood mares, foundation bred quarter horses, and a lot of the bloodlines that I used to be really big into, I won't buy them off today. Their feet have gotten so small. Their leg bones have gotten so small, and they've gotten so hot temperament that they're just not, they're fine for a few seconds in an arena, making a lot of money, but they can't take these mountains and they don't have the temperament. I just soon ride a thoroughbred out here because they don't have that calm, level-headed temperament to go out and get a job done. And it's the breeding, and then you wind up with the physical problems like we had from Impressive and now Poco Bueno's bloodline, and that they breed them until they destroy them.
Let's talk about the new fad in today's horse industry, the draft cross. That's the new.
Well, it's been around for a while out here out west because of the snow and the mountains and stuff. We had several draft crosses at outfit I rode for in Alaska. Most the draft that was crossed was Percherons. They like to cross Percherons with, quarter horses and get big stout. They're big in Canada. On a lot of the cattle ranches, they prefer those bigger draft crosses.
Here in the last 2 to 3 years, though, every call, every day, my phone rings. Good thing I don't have service right now, or we couldn't even record this thing. My phone rings all day long, people wanting horses.
Yeah.
The main call I get every day for the last 2 years, draft cross, draft cross.
I think, and what do you think? What do you think's driving?
I think one of the main things driving it is temperament of the draft horse.
And that's what I was fixing to say. They've taken the quarter horse. Now this is a real sore spot for me. Okay, for years they've bred thoroughbred into the quarter horse, and so there's a lot of registered quarter horses out there that are not quarter horses.
That's where the appendix come in.
That's where it come in. But now the way it's set up, they don't have to be listed as appendix if you do every other generation or whatever. Are you familiar with the horse Impressive?
Yeah.
He was 26% quarter horse. Everything else was thoroughbred.
Well, if you look back on a lot of those quarter horse pedigrees, Go back to Secretariat.
Yeah. Right. But they bred a lot of the other stuff and calmed them down and shortened them down, got them stocky. But then when they discovered they could make money in quarter horse racing, we need to make our quarter horses faster because quarter horse racing is a lot of money. So we need more thoroughbred. And so now you buy, and then people, they ask me, they go, Dwayne, what is your favorite breed? I want to buy a horse. What breed do you think I should buy? I hate to say quarter horse because there's a lot of AQHA quarter horses they got a head that can eat corn out of the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket, and they stand 16 hands tall, and they've got the temperament of an Arabian on Red Bull, and so they want to say this is a quarter horse. That's not a quarter horse. AQHA, you'll get me fired up here. AQHA, in my opinion, is one of the biggest scams in this country in the entire horse world. I have a number of registered horses. They're not in my name. I wouldn't give $1 to AQHA.
What I wonder, what the foundation, what happened to that quarter horse, like you see on Bonanza, the movies, that big round rump, and that straight good back, and their head and their neck, they drop. They don't have a head like a saddle brake, one like this.
They're still out there, but it's like, and again, all this is my opinion. Okay, I'm not an authority on any of this. Okay, but it's the same as buying a German Shepherd. All right. Why does a German Shepherd look like it's built to be a motorcycle round? You look at the original German Shepherds and their backs like that. Now you look at an AKC registered German Shepherd and they're like that. And their hips go out. Okay. And so it's the same thing in corners. It's not, you can't paint with too broad a brush. Okay. But it's the same thing in certain corners of the quarter horse world, and probably other breeds as well. I don't know. But I agree 100% that a big part of the draw, because they bred so much high-tempered, high-end thoroughbred into the quarter horse, and I am very much aware of the 3 bars and, the original foundation quarter horse. I mean, that was thoroughbred. I'm aware of all that. But they've bred all this stuff into them, so now a lot of your backyard quarter horses are so jacked up. Now they're having to breed draft horses into them to bring them back down to originally what they were.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
That's why this draft cross, the draft cross nowadays is the original quarter horse. You take a 14-hand quarter mare, you breeders are a nice, solid 16-hand perch and stud, long tail, old blood, big boned, big footed, jug-headed perch.
Right.
To a 14-hand quarter horse mare.
Right.
You're going to get that 15-hand, 15-1, solid quarter horse looking horse. Wide, strong, just like the
Joe Hancock was a perchin.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He was. So yeah, a lot of the original quarter horses, they had a lot of the draft stuff in them. That's what made them what they are.
We watch a lot of Westerns, great TV.
Right.
My wife all day long has it on some kind of old Western. Right. And she's all the time, she loves it. She said, I know all those horses are draft cross. They look just like them.
Well, a lot of like your, Roy Rogers Trigger, he was a standard bred.
Yeah.
I think. Standard bred or Tennessee Walker. A lot of those horses, they weren't even quarter horses.
One of my favorite crosses on a horse, you may think I'm crazy, but standard bred Belgian.
I don't have any experience with that.
I'm telling you, man.
Now we're standard breds. I was a equine vet tech.
Okay.
In Florida for one season on the trotting horse racetrack.
Okay.
And they were all standard breds. And that's somebody asked me the other day, Dwayne, as a new horse person and wanted to buy a horse, what do you recommend it? And I told him, I said, you know what? I don't think you can go wrong with a good standard bred.
We used to take mules to the Salmon Select sale every year, Salmon, Idaho, for Snook. First year we had a really good Appaloosa mule sell for third highest. last year we took 3 mules. All of them did super good. And we thought we're going anyway. So why not take 3 horses and stay for the horse sale Saturday and sell them while we're there?
Mm-hmm.
So we did. We took a good AQHA bay roan horse, and we took an AQHA blue roan. And then we took the standardbred Belgian. His name was Old Max. Y'all can look him up. He was lot 99 of the Salmon Swell XL in 2022. He's on my YouTube, Max.
Yeah.
My buddy Mel, he was my partner on these horses. He said, "Are we really going to take that standardbred cross to that sale?" I said, "Mel, that's the best horse you're ever going to find. This horse is good."
Yeah.
We took that sucker out there. He was the last one to sell. He showed himself. He won the mounted shooting competition.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was 16 hands, a tank. And Mel took him in the ring and laid him down.
Yeah.
And stood on him and shot his pistol with blanks.
Mm-hmm.
That horse brought 20,000. He was a standardbred Belgian. And I said, since then, you crossed that horse, something about it. And it's got to be an old Belgian. None of this new hitchy stuff.
Right, right.
Old style, original Belgian to a trotting bred standardbred. Something about it just makes it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, I think in the horse industry, I think we need to get away from papers and we need to get back to horse breeding. A good horse to a good horse. We need good, responsible breeding practices again. What we've been doing is breeding a paper to a paper.
I've not sold a registered draft horse in 2 years.
Yeah.
All of what we're selling, we've sold 29 teams this year so far. Right. Everything has been grade, farm raised, crosses, and just farm draft horses. And
well, I looked on your website and I called you about that pair.
Duke and Duchess.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, they would really do me good here. And you told me they had sold. Yeah. And I'm like, that price is just out of all reason. It's the market. I know. Yeah. I'm not talking about, I'm just saying the market. And you told me how much not broke they were. And I'm like, that's beyond all.
They just wasn't, they was more just a plow ring riding.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Now driving wise.
Yeah. Spot on.
I sold them to an 85-year-old couple in Pawnee, Montana. And it's kind of a sad story, but most of my viewers will know it already, but I'll tell you, maybe some of yours won't. For Mike and Dixie, older couple, sweetest people you'll ever meet in your whole entire life. Mike wanted to drive a team one more time through Pawnee, Montana. He bought them horses, had them shipped out there. He got to do that.
Yeah.
85-year-old, him and his wife, Dixie, harnessed them things up and drove them to Pawnee, Montana. Then they called me a month later. Since then, Mike's had a pretty bad back set. He's not doing very good health-wise.
Yeah.
So they had to sell them, which I helped them sell them. A good friend of mine, Kim Harris, in Conrad, Montana, makes Harris traps. You ever heard of him? He's a good trap maker.
Right.
He bought them. He actually sent me a video of them last night up in the mountains with them riding.
Yeah.
They're getting them riding really good. But those horses like that, do you know what those horses was? Suffolk Punch, Perchin, quarter horse cross. That's what they was.
So somebody hit them. They were good looking horses.
The dad was a registered Suffolk stud.
Yeah.
Michael Cope in Spencer, Tennessee, a Mennonite guy, raised them. He had Perchin quarter mare, and his brother Isaac had a Perchin or Suffolk stud. They bred the Suffolk stud to the mares and got that team. Turned out buckskin, the dorsal stripes on their legs. And you talk about a team with a mind.
Yeah.
That team goes back to everything we've talked about in the last 20 minutes.
Right.
It does.
Yeah. I bought a mare last year. I saw her and I really liked her. Just her looks, her setup, her build, everything. Then I saw her papers and I bought that mare. And I just lost her last month.
Oh.
It was an accident. But she was hot bred. And I worked her and she did good.
You had her on YouTube. I think so.
Right.
I remember.
Yeah, right. But man, I'm like, I don't, for what I'm doing, I'm like, I can't buy any more of these papered hot-blooded horses because I'm always like, what are they? Because, especially the mares, man, they can have a temper, and they're just a little bit more sensitive, just a little bit more fire. They got a bigger engine, a lot of horses, and I can't put just anybody on them.
How many horses are you keeping here for the school at all time?
Right now we got 12. I got 3. I just picked up 3 new ones, and they weren't as ready to go as I was understanding that they were. And one's coming along really, really good. That I just did the 2 videos on Little Joe. He's going to be a nice little horse. And the other two, they're going to take some work.
Well, you got the people here to do it yourselves.
Yeah. But we've got 12 head right now.
Are you raising your own hay here or just buying it in?
That's why 12 head that's unmatched. Pretty good right there.
Talk about hay. What's the market doing out here? Like, is it really high still?
I'm getting, for around here, I'm getting a killer price. I'm getting really good hay. 50-pound bales, because I don't have a tractor. I'm not set up to store a bunch of big round bales. It's 40 to 50% alfalfa, and I'm paying $10 a bale.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't fuss.
That's really good. You don't raise any cattle or anything, do you?
I have this house, which is sitting on 3 acres of land, and I lease everything else for grazing the horses and for riding on. So I don't have land to. If I had land, I'd have a few.
He was riding with a guy on YouTube going out and checking cattle.
Yeah, his cattle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That was a good video. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, and we were just right up here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Do you go to the mountains much any or?
Every week we go about 6 or 8 miles back up here, and that's where we ride. We'll do more arena work, more what's the word I want? Obstacle course stuff this year than we have been. I want to work more on reining for folks. But then every week we go ride.
So Mama does all the cooking for the school.
Nope.
She don't?
No, we have a daughter that is an excellent cook. And she does all the cooking for the school. Mama has a full-time job. She takes care of me. She's mom. She mothers the whole place. But no, we have another young lady that does the housekeeping and the laundry and all that stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
And I'm not doing it.
That's a lot when you got 6 students here every week.
We got 6 students plus, the staff and the apprentices and everything. It's quite a bit.
How many apprentices do you take?
Well, so you one normally, and I'm not going to have an apprentice. I had an apprentice this year, and he came out, and it wasn't a good fit. And so we just parted ways.
Yeah.
And I decided, I don't. So I'm not taking on an apprentice this year. And I've taken on, since we started school, I've taken on 5 apprentices, and 2 of them have worked out. So I'm not taking on another apprentice unless it's somebody I know personally, somebody who's come through the school. But this write in, mail in, call in, hey, I want to apply for this. I can't do that anymore because it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I can see how that would be hard. What's your definition of a Wrangler? Dry Creek Wrangler School. A lot of people probably want to know what a Wrangler is.
Okay. Well, so the word Wrangler, the original word comes from the German word for wrestle. Okay. But a Wrangler on ranches, it's got 2 basic deals. Okay. On cattle ranches, you had the cowboys and their job is the cows. Then they had a Wrangler. His job is the horse herd. So he's a guy that, like, when the cowboys early in the morning need to come and get their mounts to mount up to go work the cattle, the Wrangler ran the horses in, and his job is the horses. On a cattle drive, you had the, TV always shows the cow herd and the cowboys, but behind the herd, because each cowboy would have 5 to 7 horses apiece. So there's a guy, his job is he drives the horses along and follows the herd. or is in front of them, whichever. And he takes care of the horses. So there's that definition. The other definition is someone who works on a dude ranch, and they take care of the horses and they help the guests and then guide them out and bring them back to Wrangler. And then you'll find on some of your, like your hunting lodges in the mountains that have packers, then they'll also have wranglers. So the packer's job is to get the packs on the saddles, on the mules, transport the stuff up the mountain, transport back down. And the wrangler is there to just take care of the herd of horses and mules.
A lot of people don't know what that means. Some people may think it's Wrangler clothing.
I get that, or Jeeps or something.
I didn't know either till I started coming out here.
Yeah.
Back east, we never hear that term.
Mm.
You never hear dude ranch. You never hear Wrangler. I mean, it's just not a thing back home. But when I come out here, I went to my first place a long time ago, and they said, well, the Wrangler will help you.
Yeah.
I thought, what the crap's a Wrangler?
Yeah.
But now I know. But
yep. That one takes care of the horses.
We sold the team down to Grand Canyon West Ranch last July. And shout out to Dave, Cowboy Dave. He is so, you and him would get along great.
Yeah.
He is so cool. Might go down and do a podcast with you, Cowboy Dave. If you're watching, you may be getting a call. But they got a lot of Wranglers down there. So what do you think a definition of a dude ranch is?
Well, a dude is somebody that they're not hands, they're not horsemen. It's someone who pays to come out and have the riding experience.
Yeah. We sold to a lot of dude ranches.
Yeah.
Rainbow Trout Ranch. Well, to last year in Colorado.
I tell you what, I've said this before, it makes no sense. It's the most illogical thing on this planet. But I love Wrangler Zoots. With my personality, you wouldn't think so, but I love it. I think it ties in with my natural affinity for teaching and for bringing people, to experience something new that I love. And Mom and I have talked, and y'all don't panic, okay? But Mom and I have talked that either in 25 or in 26, we may temporarily shut the school down and see if somebody will hire us, and we want to go get a job wrangling and just get our feet back in it, bro, because it's what we love to do. Take some time off from this and just go wrangle.
I tell you where to go.
I'm Buddy Dolly.
Rainbow Trout Ranch.
Yeah.
And Toledo, Colorado.
Yeah.
Some of the nicest people.
Yeah.
I was down there. We was down there back in October, and I kind of made a mistake. I've got a bad reputation of being a bad driver.
Did you earn it?
I did.
Well, there you
go. But I had a 8-wide trailer that I pulled with my daily. Well, me and my wife was leaving to come out to Amarillo and Taos, New Mexico, and Colorado and Montana. Well, my dually had bald tires. I'm a bad last-minute kind of guy. I didn't put new tires on that truck. And I said, Elizabeth, where's Flag drive her truck? Well, she's got a 6.5-foot bed F-250. That don't work with an 8-wide trailer.
That don't work.
Well, I did it. And I got to Antonito, and I missed my turn. I had to turn around or go over a mountain pass. I told my wife, just remain calm. I can turn this thing around the middle of the road here.
She's smashing the corners of your cab.
I busted the whole back window out. It's bad.
Yeah.
And it was cold.
Yeah.
But we got up to Rainbow Trout Ranch, and I pulled in there so embarrassed to have a busted back window. But Dave there and his wife's from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the best people, awesome people. They took us into their home and said, you all ain't leaving here tonight with that window out. Yeah. They fed us, kept us, and we went up to town. The next day I had a piece of plexiglass put in.
Yeah.
But just super good people.
Yeah.
I can say one thing. From this business that I'm in, I've never met a bad person.
Yeah.
I've got friends from every state in this area. If I have any trouble anywhere in America, I got somebody
to call. Yeah.
One time last year, we had a guy, not going to mention no names, but a shipping company picked up a mule, and he was taking it to Phoenix, Arizona. Well, I didn't know what they was hauling. I thought they was a horse transport company. The customer hired them, so I'm like, yeah, hey, you trust them, so here's the mule. They called me 2 days later and said, Mr. Haste, this mule is kicking these sheep in this trailer, and we're going to have to leave him at the Box Elder Fairgrounds in Idaho. And he was going to Phoenix. They left him there in a stall. Here, the owner of the new mules in Phoenix. I'm in Kentucky.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? What I do? Picked up the phone, called Randy Melton, super good friend of mine. He's in Utah. He said, well, Stephen, I'm a long way, but I know a guy that'll help us. He made a call to his buddy in Idaho, and his buddy in Idaho went and got our mule. Just like that. Had them within a couple hours.
Yeah.
And I tried my best to pay them boys. Like, dude, let me send you some money for helping me.
Yeah.
I don't want to think.
I had a lady I was helping in Tennessee several years ago. She was learning horses for the first time and started giving her lessons. And my boys and I were, we wound up taking on a couple horses and got them ready for her. And, but she called me and she said, I'm buying 2 rescue horses. Will you help me? Will you come look at them and have me go pick them up? And I said, yeah. She said, I've got the trailer hooked up to my vehicle. So I grabbed my 2 boys, and they were small. I mean, small. They were, I don't know, 10 and 12, something like that. So we pulled up to her house, and she had a horse trailer hooked on behind a little SUV. And it was just like a 12-foot open stock trailer. And so we went back, whined in Tennessee, back through there, and pulled up this place in the back country. And she said, well, there's the 2 horses out there in the field. I'm going to go inside and do the paperwork. Would you want to get them and put them in the trailer? Because I didn't know if they'd load or anything. I said, yeah. Well, she went inside. I mean, the boys went out there, and we got the horses. They loaded right in the trailer. They weren't a problem. She'd come out, and so we backed out. There's a little 2-lane blacktop road that, you know, so much in Tennessee like this. We headed out down the road and got up to about 50 miles an hour. She looked in the rearview mirror. She was driving her rig and said, oh, my God. And I tried like that and looked just in time to see the trailer go by. It come off the hill. And then it came down, the hitch hit, flipped the trailer. And so she squealed to a stop. I jumped out. I said, go down, find a place, turn around, and come back. I went over there, jumped up on top, got the gate. The trailer was laying on its side, dropped the gate down. One of the horses didn't like it. The other horse was unconscious. People started stopping. So I went in there with ropes and lead ropes and a couple ratchet straps from a couple passerbyers. And we started physically picking that horse up. I said, we got to get them out of here before they wake up. Because there's too many slats in the side of the trailer, which is damn. And so we got the horse out. And so I picked up my phone. I called my buddy. I said, man, I need some help, and I need some help right now. He said, tell me what you need. I said, I need a truck in the horse trailer, and I need some place to put a horse indefinitely. He said, man, I'm out of town, but I'll call my daughter, give me directions. She'll be right there. And she was a barrel racer. She was, late teens, about 20, and pulled up and loaded that mare. The survivor loaded her in that other trailer, but it was the same thing. Where you at? Tell me what you need. I got it right now. And we took her to a farm because the lady who was buying the horses, she was just fried. She was out of it.
I bet she was.
She was traumatized.
In Florida, Tennessee, was that in?
It was outside of Holt.
I know where that's at.
Yeah. I used to own a tack and feed store in Holt.
I know people there. Amish.
Yeah.
There's a huge Amish community in Etheridge.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And I probably know a bunch of them.
You probably do.
Yeah.
One thing about that area down there, I remember very well. We was coming through there when that flood hit Waverly. We was coming back from Palo Pinto, Texas, selling horses. You remember that flood? Massive. Got the Loretta Lynn Ranch, and I got detracked because 40 was closed, and
Right.
we went through Waverly and all down through there.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
so you lived in Holbrook, Tennessee.
No, I lived a few miles outside of Holwald out in the country, but I had the horse stop,
That's it.
tack and feed store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah.
Small world.
And, I lost my shirt business. Well, I said, when I bought it, I'm like, I know horses and I know feed and I know tack. How hard can it be? I didn't know business. And the business side of it just ate my lunch because I had no clue what I was doing.
Nowadays, online's the business.
Well, and that was part of what was killing me. You can't compete. A small outfit like that, you can't compete with JT International or the local co-op for feed or whatever.
One thing about it, like he was talking earlier about the mules, how the young folks don't want to slow down and stuff. Online, it's got everything sped up so fast where you can just do anything like that. I mean, there's no need to slow down. You can roll.
You can roll.
It's the new way.
But when you're rolling, you miss a lot of stuff.
You do.
Yep.
One thing about that I want to say, you don't know what it's like riding a horse or riding a wagon, especially riding a horse or a wagon. You can go down the same road 1,000 times in a truck and look every day. When you ride a horse and wagon, you'll see stuff you've never seen.
Never saw. Yeah.
I've even seen that old house that I never knew was there.
Who put that house there?
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And well, you don't see your horse will point out for you.
Well,
Their head would come up, ears would come forward, and they're like,
we're going to have the wagon ride this fall at the house. This has not even been announced yet. I guess I'm going to announce it now on the podcast, but you'll see everything come out in a couple months. But for all of our customers we've ever sold a team to,
yeah.
and all their friends and stuff, we're going to invite them to the farm. We're going to grill a hog. And then one of our customers from Arkansas, he owns a big butcher shop. He's going to bring brisket and barbecue it. We're going to let all the customers bring their teams back and have a big wagon train.
There you go.
You should come to Kentucky for that.
I ought to. When's it going to be?
Last weekend in October.
I'll be free. It's going to go to the last week of September. Mom and I bring a couple saddle mounts.
We're going to ride all over Casey County Amish country.
Yeah.
You've been there, brother.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to ride.
My mama still lives in Campbellsville.
Okay. Well, you need to come see Mama.
I got to go see Mama.
You go there, what, once a year, twice a year?
Try something like that. She's still not here for a week in August.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She flying out here?
Yeah, she'll fly out. And
They'll go pick her up. May not want to go back home.
she may not. But she's born and raised there her whole life.
Oh, I know.
So she's still she won't ever leave there.
You're talking about hospitality. You're from Kentucky. You're big on hospitality. When I first come out here, I had a bad impression for the West over hospitality. I thought the people's just different.
They're just independent.
But, they bound to be living out here.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Independent, self-sufficient is a better word.
Like back home, our neighbors, like when I was a little boy growing up, Daddy milked cows.
Mm-hmm.
Every night we'd get done milking. Two of his brothers to come, his sister, and everybody congregated at people's houses every night.
Right.
And
well, see, my mama was the baby of 12 kids. And my dad was the oldest of 8.
Well,
and they were born and raised 8 miles apart from each other. So huge families. Back in the day when they still did family reunions, our family reunions, they would pull up nose to tail. We'd have hay wagons, old flatbed hay wagons, and that's what all the food and everything.
you say back in the day, we still do that. The Hayes family reunion, third weekend in June, I got it memorized. Everybody brings a dish, and that's just how it is back home.
My mama being the baby of 12, and she's in her 70s now, and she was the baby. So there's not much left. And then all the younger generation is just scattered all over the country. So there's, I don't think any of them have I don't think they get
So different out here, though. Like when I go back home, I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah.
I feel claustrophobic.
Dude, the traffic kills me.
It is so different.
The traffic at Camelsville, Kentucky. I don't know if you go through Camelsville very much. I'd rather take a whooping than drive through Camelsville. And it's a little town.
Try Somerset.
Yeah. It's the last time I went, I'm like, went back, see Mom run out. Don't these people have homes? I mean, they're just, and when my dad passed, I thought, I need to look at maybe get my mom a nicer place, get home a little place. Mm-hmm. The prices of property and stuff around there, I'm like, what in the world? There's nothing here, It's just, I'm like, well, if I'm going to pay those kind of prices for property, I just supposed to be out here where I got some elbow. I can see you coming through the scope of my rifle.
This place, I'm going to go ahead and admit it. The West is growing on Stephen Haste.
And you'll be out here one day.
I like it. Once I got to know the people out here, I got so many friends out here. The hospitality's the same with the right people.
It is.
And I love the people. My customers out West out here, anybody out there, thank y'all. I love all y'all. But I got some of the best people out here. And now when I come out here, it don't feel new no more. Used to, when I come to Montana, I just felt, wow, I just got to touch the grass and the sagebrush.
Yeah.
But now, it just feels like home.
Right.
I like it. I could live out here in the right place.
Yeah, in the right place.
I'd want that view, at least.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live in the sagebrush with just the flats.
Right.
I'd want something like looking out that window right there.
Yeah.
But this place here would work for me. This is nice.
It's nice.
You'll never want to leave here.
The only thing that will get us from leaving here is if I can get my own land, find my own place.
Oh, well, I guess
I need a little more road, and for what we're doing,
You think you'll stay in Wyoming, or would you?
I want to stay in Sheridan, not just Wyoming. I want to stay here.
You like it here?
I like it here, and I've made really good friends here. I like everything about it. I don't want to leave here. I would just like to eventually have some more room.
My favorite place here. In 2017, I sold a team of mules to the Flying J Ranch here, up at Bighorn.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Johnson, he owns that ranch.
Right.
His daughter, Jillian, she was actually the polo champion in 2008. I sold them a team of gray mules to pull their wagon at their polo games.
Mm-hmm.
They play polo up there.
Right.
I got to stay there for like 5 nights in a big cabin. That was the prettiest place I ever stayed in my life. We had the best time there. And if you ever want good pizza,
Buffalo, the pizza place.
we're going.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That's the best. They can have their New York pizza and their Chicago. That's the best pizza I ever eat.
Yeah. I was just talking, we were up here in Warno. Well, we went up there for my birthday, Deanna and I. And there was a fella and his wife were sitting out there. I was out on the deck having a cigar. And they had called Buffalo and ordered a pizza and had it. We'll be there such and such time. And we were just talking about that place. They're known for the pizza.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
So you said you still have one mule on your place. It's the only one you got.
It's just a mule that's there, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got...
Is it a good riding mule?
Oh, it's just an old mule.
Oh.
But right now we got a new team of mules we're going to be posting next week. We got recently. Yeah, I got them from a friend of mine to sell for him.
Right.
Super nice team, draft mules.
Yeah.
But we had, we raised a mule. We actually sold it to a good guy out in Illinois a couple, 2-3 months ago. Yeah. Young 3-year-old we raised. We never started her. Yeah. Just sold her to him. He's actually moving to Montana.
Go figure.
He is going to start a church out there.
Yeah.
Out toward Helena. And kind of like a non-denominational church. He's a really good guy from Illinois. They're going to move out here. He wants to do packing. I sold him 2 mules from an older man at home that had some bad health, just sold him for him. Sold him that young mule Scarlet, and recently I sold him a draft cross, Persian quarter cross, named Alpha. He's set up. He's got his mount and his true pack mule.
There you go.
He's ready to go.
Ready to go.
Well, Dewayne, it's been a pleasure.
It's been good.
I don't know how long we've been on here, but
I don't know when we started.
the cigar's about out. So,
And that's about an hour and a half cigar right there, all the way to the end. So,
well, we've been going an hour at least.
yeah, yeah.
Let's go ahead and tell them about your website. Make sure they know that.
Okay. The website is www.drycreekwranglers, it's plural.com. So you can see, you'll find out about the school and the contact information if you want to call and book. We're fully booked for 24. There are no openings. And we haven't opened the book for 25 yet, but we'll be doing that here probably in the next month or so. And then if you want, the store is on there, pick up gewgaws and stuff.
Also, Dewayne's YouTube channel is very interesting.
It's just Dry Creek Wrangler.
If you like watching YouTube videos of horses and cowboy wisdom, subscribe to Dewayne's YouTube channel. You'll really like it. And also, he has a podcast, Dry Creek Wrangler School Podcast.
I do.
And you can find it on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere.
All that, yeah.
So if you want to listen to Dewayne's podcast, I encourage you to do that. You'll really enjoy that. And you have anything else? You got the Instagram?
I do have Instagram, but I don't do a whole lot on it.
You have a Rumble?
I did a Rumble, but I've give up on Rumble.
Yeah.
They've made it so difficult I can't upload anything.
Oh, wow.
It takes forever. And it's so many hoops to jump through. And when they get their computer stuff, I mean, for a guy like me, I'm not going to go through all that. I enjoy the freedom on Rumble, but it just got to be such a hassle. And so anything that disturbs my calm, I just shut it down and push it away and move on. It was aggravating me trying to get stuff.
His main things is YouTube, over 1 million subscribers.
Millions of was to 1,080,000.
That's an accomplishment. Maybe someday I'll get there.
They sent me a plaque.
They really did?
Yeah, sent me a gold plaque.
Did you get the silver one too?
They offered it to me, and I'm like, what do I want with that thing? I don't need that. So I didn't get it.
So you do have your gold one?
Yeah. They said awesome. Yeah.
So there's how you contact Dewayne and all of his stuff. Support him. That YouTube channel is great. You'll love it. I know all of my viewers will. If you don't know him already, probably a lot of you already know him or are familiar with him. So, but I sure glad to get to come out here and meet you and do this.
Said you came out there. I sure appreciate it. Good.
And check our website out, www.drafthorsesandsmulesforsale.com. And you all know we got the Facebook, the YouTube, the whole 9 yards. So if you need a good horse team, give me a call, 606-303-5669. And Dewayne, we're going to sign out.
All right.
Thank you all for watching. God bless each and every one of you. And until the next one, we'll see you soon.
As another captivating episode of Harness Up with Haste Draft Horses and Mules draws to a close, we extend our sincere gratitude to our listeners for joining us on this enlightening journey. We hope today's discussions have deepened your appreciation and understanding of these magnificent creatures. Remember, the adventure continues beyond this podcast. Stay connected with us on social media and share your stories. For more information and to explore further, visit drafthorsesandsmulesforsale.com. Thank you for being part of our community. Until next time, keep harnessing your curiosity and passion for these God-given creatures. Farewell for now.